Well, as long promised on The Satisfied Life, here is the vegetable garden video I promised you. And this is Paul in my vegetable garden here at the Funny Farm. Pretty much put together by Paul, but it's so easy that if I had any self-discipline at all, I could have done this as well. The best part about this is it's a family project. Your kids can get involved. You're going to have fresh vegetables with no chemicals on. That's the dogs in the background. And best of all, girls, you can throw away your gym membership, because after you haul a couple of bags of potting soil and dig around a little bit, you're going to have Michelle arms. No. So one of the best things about having your own vegetable garden, if you're in a trying economic circumstance, and really who isn't these days, is that for about a $60 to $70 initial investment, you can reap over $500 in vegetables. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. So what we have here, we've got just a really small vegetable garden here at the Funny Farm. Paul did 4 raised beds. These are pressure-treated 2x12 timbers. Now, these are about 3 years old. They're showing a little wear and tear, but they're still doing great. And it took Paul about one afternoon to do this. Bonnie's coming in to help with this shot. And what's great is everything that we have here, we were able to use at the Funny Farm. We've got heavy red clay, just like you have, but we also have fabulous rotted horse manure, because we're a 24/7 production facility here. And we just till that in. What you can do if you don't have access to that, go to your local nursery and buy some potting soil. You can add that in, and here's what's great about a raised bed. Number one, hardly any weeding at all. It's so easy. Number two, they retain moisture super well. So when you water each day, and you definitely want to do that if you have a spell of long, hot, dry days, they hold the moisture in really well. And in a raised garden, you can cram a lot in here. Now here's a great example of what you can do. These stakes here, so easy. They're not nailed. They're just driven into the soil and tied together. This is for our tomato plants. And we've got 10 different heirloom tomato species in here, because we just love heirloom tomatoes. And we've got down here cucumbers, because cucumbers like a little bit of shade. So what's great about a raised bed is you can have your tall plants like your tomatoes, and then in the shade, stick some cucumber in there. So it's an easy way to grow multiple plants. So now here you have our entire garden laid out. It's so small, isn't it? But we reap a tremendous amount. I mean, we don't buy a tomato until the fall, and we come in and we pick our salad every night. So here's what we have in our raised beds. You saw the tomatoes over there, and you saw the cucumbers. In this bed here, I've got radishes, and I'm very grateful that Paul let me put in some broccoli plants, because I love broccoli and he hates it. We got bell peppers here. Those are some old daffodils. Over here we've got zucchini. I think it's an Italian variety, and herbs here, and basil. All this kind of cool stuff. So you see how we have it all laid out? We've just got 4 beds. I'm all about symmetry, so I like that it's kind of like a little formal looking. And just a gravel walk-through around here. You know, a little decoration here. And the picket fence, that's just prefab from Home Depot. You know, it really isn't very expensive. And we'll show you the shower that we put in, because at the end of a nice, long, hot day that you're weeding in here, and if you've got the coverage and the privacy that we have here on the Funny Farm, you can shower outside. It's incredible. Another great point about having a raised bed is you're going to get a lot less disease. So if you're like me and Paul, and you don't want to spray any poison or chemicals on your vegetables, because really, what's the point of growing your own vegetables if you're going to put a bunch of chemicals on them? We don't do anything. The raised bed, they stay very, very healthy, and the only thing that Paul puts on is in the spring early, he has a time-released organic fertilizer. So that's the only thing that goes on our vegetables, and they're healthy. Like I said before, weeding is a piece of cake, and you just have this really attractive addition to your property. So what could be better? We're going to go back to the vegetable garden in just a second. I'm going to give you another idea of what you can do with your arbor. Now, Paul built this arbor, and because he has a rose nursery, we decided to train roses over it. This is the entrance to the shack where I broadcast both the Pam Show and the Satisfied Life when Sharon and I are together in the shack. And it was just pressure-treated lumber, knocked it up in an afternoon, and this rose is 3 years old. And if you're one of the people that say, oh, I love roses, but they're so temperamental, we don't do anything. We're absolutely organic, no sprays on these. Yeah, you know, it might get a little black spot. It just muscles through, it's fine. So this is another fantastic idea you could do in your vegetable garden. Build an arbor so that when you walk into it, you get this spectacular display of roses. And on the other end of your vegetable garden, you can put the shower that we're going to get to in just a minute. So a great way to bring a little bit of beauty, and really, what is better to have in your house than cut fresh roses and fresh fruit and vegetable? Now, another reason that we added the picket fence around it was, number one, is I just kind of like the enclosed look about it, but it helps keep out deer, if you've got deer, and we do. And the other thing is, now you have another support structure to add more plants, because our vegetable garden is full now. We really can't put any more in our beds, but on the outside of the picket fence, we've added raspberry canes and blueberry bushes, so now we're going to have fruit as well as our apple orchard that we can choose from as well. This is my favorite part of the garden. Now, you can do anything. Paul built this arbor here. You might want to build an arbor in front to walk through. Put a Victorian gate there. Put a bench here. We love the idea of having an outdoor shower because we don't have kids. We live on acreage. We got the privacy. And at the end of a hot 95-degree humid day when you've been working in your garden, how fabulous just to come out and have a shower. This was bought at Target for like $100. It has a little teak stand. And what we do is we have the hose connected from the house. Now, it's really important that you get a hose that's rated safe for drinking, because there's a lot of hoses that have lead in them, not safe for drinking. And you should only use the ones that are safe because you're going to be bathing in it. We loop it over the fence, and it's kind of hidden by a cedar tree over there, so the sun warms it. We don't have hot and cold water hooked up here. We just have one. And I'm telling you, at the end of a day, you come in here, this water is really hot. You can come out, you can shampoo, turn it off, turn it back on to save it, and by the time the water starts running cool and then downright cold, you are done. It's just a super refreshing way, you know, get back to nature, live outside a little bit, get away from your computer. Hope you enjoyed it.